Hi, it's Ecca from Apocalyptica, and you are watching/listening to Rolling into Metal.
Rolling into Metal.
Welcome to Roll Into Metal. I'm Joshua Reeves.
I'm Rich Morat.
And
Today we got
Apocalyptica with us. Could you introduce yourself, please, and obviously state what instrument you play in the band?
Yeah, my name is Eccia Toppinen, and I'm the founder of Apocalyptica, and I play cello and write music and do many things.
Yeah, that's great. I think it was the same for you as well, Reese, but I first listened to Apocalyptica during your time with Metallica. I think it was like they were doing like a through the Never tour or something like that, like a way of like a celebration of Metallica's days really, and seeing you perform like nothing else matters was amazing. So yeah, I've really enjoyed your music. But my first question is to you is that what made you choose Metallica? And obviously is that just, do you have your own music as well? Or is it just Metallica?
We started Apocalyptica already in 1993. So we were classical cello players, studying classical cello, and big fans of metal music. And we started to play metal for fun. And then things just went further, and we released the first album, this plays Metallica by four cellos, in 1996. And little after that, after being on tour, we started to write own music for the band. So we were not really like a band in the beginning. We were more like just a bunch of friends who played cello and loved metal. That was pretty simple for us. And after playing shows with Metallica material, we also played some Sepultura, Pantera, Fate No More, Slayer. We started to work more on our own music. So basically, since year 2000, all the albums have been original music, and now this new album, Plays Metallica Volume 2, is our second Metallica album, but it's like 28 years after the first one. So we are mainly a band who plays original music, but starting point for us was our love to Metallica's music, and we played Metallica for our own fun, and then it seemed to be fun for other people as well.
That's great. And it's mad how you formed into just loving metal music, and it's kind of, you never really see that these days, in terms of like in what playing an instrument and then wanting to like put a different spin on it really. I think it's really good in that regards as well.
Yeah, for us it was like we just played all kind of music we loved with the instruments, which is thought to be classical, and of course the origin of cello is very classical, but it's very versatile instrument. So we kind of just use those to play music. So I have never categorized music in a way of what kind of music is better than other music. I think there's always great music on every musical genre, or like there's no other genre absolutely better than other genre in a way. So you can find same kind of emotions of music in very different styles of music. So for us, I kind of grew up at the same time with metal music and classical music myself. So for me, it's been always very natural to combine.
That's great. Reese, have you got a question?
yeah, we must be. I mean, I find that classical music is very much like metal in that respect. The sounds are similar in the sense of you get your big crescendos and you get your tempo changes and stuff like that. So how do you feel that you can bring the everybody like this to the sound? Is it difficult to achieve metal sound with classical music?
It's like I think classical music. We can't talk about classical music as one entity because there is music from almost 5 centuries and different countries and different composers. So classical music itself has so many different musical styles in it, and we tend to talk about classical music as one thing, but it's actually not like that. It has so many different styles. But playing, to be honest, cello is a very difficult instrument. So to play guitar solos and the riffs, the tuning is different than on guitar, and cello requires much more power and force to create sound. So it's our never-ending struggle is like how to play the metal with cellos. Even we do it, but it's always very tricky. When we started, we didn't play the faster, more difficult songs because of the technical limitations we felt with our classical cello playing technique. So we have evolved own techniques how to play, and that's why we can play songs like on the new album. There's like Blackened, or we played Battery or Fight Fire with Fire. But when we started, even we were very good classical cello players, we couldn't play those fastest songs. So there are a lot of, I wouldn't say limitations on cello, on classical instruments, but there are a lot of challenges. And especially if you put an acoustic instrument through the distortions and guitar amps, there is always feedback issues, and the classical instrument has so much information. So there are so much overtones and undertones on every single note, and then the guitar amps and stuff, they react to all that kind of mess. So it tends to get very messy. So that's been our challenge always, how to get it in control and to make it sound great.
That's great. You mentioned about newer music of Metallica. Have you got any plans for doing the new record, 72 Seasons? Got anything planned from the song? Because I would love to listen to Immorata, which is the final track of the album, played classical. It would be really good.
Yeah, it's a great song, and it's a great album. But for this Place Metallica Volume 2 album, we wanted really to have something from the newer stuff. But what I found out at least very, very challenging was that the new Metallica albums, the songwriting is a little bit more simple in the way they are less parts and less elements than on the old Metallica stuff. Because when we take James Hetfield out, we take the lyrics out, and that something a lot disappears from the song. And then if we take Metallica's performance out, we just felt that we didn't find enough juice on those songs. It's not a matter of are the songs good or not. It was just like that we didn't manage to make great Apocalyptica versions. Because for this album, our criteria on choosing songs was definitely that we had to feel that, okay, Apocalyptica version of this Metallica song is fantastic. That we are bringing something new in the picture. We are giving a new perspective to the original song. So it was not matter of how great the original song is. It was all about how great the Apocalyptica version of the original song is going to be.
Yeah. So going back to obviously you mentioned about the old music and stuff. What was the first song that you played that was like, okay, this is something that we can make into a career one day?
We never thought about that we making a career out of this. Never, ever. So I made the first songs we played. We were in the youth orchestra music camp, and some evening thing we created some programs. So I made arrangements of For Whom the Bell Tolls, Creeping Death, and Escape. The reason was that on that time I had money to buy only one sheet music book, so I bought this guitar notebook for Ride the Lightning album, which was my favorite album, and those were the songs. So we never thought about even making an album ourselves. We just played for our friends in parties and stuff. And then the rumor went on that we were invited to play a metal club, part of some event, end of '95. And based on that performance, we were contacted by a small label who wanted us to make a record. And we honestly, we asked him that, are you serious? Who wants to listen to this kind of shit from the album? You know, that was kind of our point of view to the whole thing. But he convinced us to make the album, and then when the album was first album was done, we were thinking if we sell 1,000 copies and get a couple of gigs, that's amazing. And suddenly it blew up everywhere, and everything changed. But so our expectations were never that, okay, this is something that we can make a career out about. You know, we were all focused on our classical path, and this was just a side thing we were doing for our own fun. But then it turned out to be our path, you know. Sometimes the best things happen surprisingly, that you just focus on what you do and you put everything into what you're doing, and something great might come up.
Yeah, you can make a career just a passion. But I mean, we're all Metallica fans here, like me and Josh are huge Metallica fans. I really feel the music does it justice. I mean, to us, Treatment Death, you know, they're all classic songs. So how did that come about? How did that happen, mate?
When we started in the beginning, when we did the Metallica versions, we did very much the versions the way that Metallica has written them. So we just played them with cello. So like Creeping Death, for example, we just tried to figure out how can we play this song with cellos. But now with the new album, when we were thinking, if Apocalyptica makes a new plays Metallica album, it really needs to make sense. There needs to be a point why we do it. And this time we really digged into try to find the core soul of every song. That what are the elements and things that really makes this song to be this song, and then started to kind of digested it and then created our own view for it. But in like songs like Creeping Death, we were just playing like as it is in the past. But now on the new album, we have got a lot of modifications because we felt that, okay, it feels, when we perform, it feels like this is cooler way to go and so on. So we gave ourselves more freedom with this new album to actually change things from originals.
That's good. I guess you've had a bit more growth as well in terms of the new record, because what I've noticed as well, and what picked me back up to listen to your music, was actually hearing Nothing Else Matters actually on Wednesday. So how did that come about? And I bet that was huge for you, knowing that that's going to be on a Netflix show that has got millions of views.
Yeah, that was really cool. And the story, what I heard was that somebody who was editing the series placed the song there, because it's from our album from 1998, which is in a symphony album. So that's when we recorded and released the Nothing Else Matters version, and it was placed in there. And then Tim Burton was like, no, we can't. There was a plan that Danny Elfman would have composed something for the scene where it was used, but then when our song was placed kind of as a demo there, they were like, no, it has to be this is great. And of course it was great honor, and it feels great that something that we have done already a long time ago can be used part of other people's art, like the series was. So that was really cool, and I think it brought a lot of awareness of Apocalyptica amongst the younger generation who were not yet alive when we released the first album.
Yeah, well, obviously you've got like the Cramps being like popular again now and stuff, and obviously having that classical element in that Wednesday show, I think it really brought it out. And I think I was like, oh, I know this band. And then and I was right. I knew it was you guys, and yeah, it was just great to see some kind of like classical metal putting into a TV show. That's going to be big, because people that's into classical music might not want to check out rock, but they'll check out that because it's classical. Do you know what I mean? And vice versa then.
Yeah, it has been cool to see that that we have gained a lot of classical fans to understand Metallica's music or metal music in general, because the presentation is more approachable for them. Like if you think about typical classical music concert goer who doesn't like metal, so they don't get through the barrier, which is the noisy sound, you know, that they can't hear the greatness of the music because they are not familiar with powerful vocals and loud drums and stuff. And then when we play it in Apocalyptica context, they actually are like, oh, this is great music, beautiful music, because for their ear it's more approachable. They kind of can digest it easier. So it's been really great to see that how much people have kind of found or understood metal music better through Apocalyptica. And other way around as well, you know, metal people understanding something about classical music also.
Yeah, so it's very good because having strokes for like, for both music genres, you know, it's good for metal fans to experience classical. It's good for classical fans to experience metal, I think. They listen to the drove so much stronger, and so like me and Josh, we go to lots of festivals, and the community is always great with us. How do you feel the community has received you? Because different classical is very different. So how do you feel the metal community has welcomed you? Because yeah, I think they are. I mean, certainly for me, I really like your music.
Yeah, I think the metal community that accepted us really great from the very beginning. We were super surprised about that. Like when we did the very first show where we got the record deal, that was very first time to play in the rock metal club for metal crowd, and we were terrified. We were thinking when we go on stage, they probably throw, you know, beer on us and bottles, and we need to escape. And they just went mad. They were singing along and they were stage diving and, you know, crowd surfing and everything. So it's really cool. So I think the metal community, I think that's a thing in metal community in general. It's very acceptable. You know, it's very accepting. I mean, that that people tend to let other people to be as they are. It's pretty much non-judgmental as kind of a whole picture. So I think metal media, metal fans, they have always treated us well. We played through all these years. We played hundreds of metal festivals, gothic festivals, hardcore metal festivals, all kind of things, and it's been amazing. And I think part of why metal community has accepted us, that they have probably felt that there's something genuine what we are doing, that we are not trying to make some fun. Hey, it's funny to play metal. It's like we do it because we love it. You know, we love the music. So we are kind of part of them, part of metalheads. I think classical music has been a little bit more difficult because we are not really, Apocalyptica is not really a crossover band in that sense, because we are too metal to be sweet and crossover, if you know what I mean. That whatever, now we released this classical EP maybe 2-3 years back with some Beethoven and Ravel Bolero and that kind of stuff. And we were thinking, well, maybe this is something that, you know, the classical audience will find. And it didn't find, and we were wondering why. And then we listened back what we had done. Like, fucking hell, these are so extreme. These versions are so hard. It's like punching your face. So no wonder that classical audience is getting it. But then on the other hand, whenever we play in classical venues and we play classical festivals, they also love it. So we are able to do it in the way that we kind of lure them in, and when they are in, then we take them from throat and, you know, shake them upside down. but that's kind of the trick, that you kind of have to feel that what's the language, what they understand, what's the musical language, and then you have to kind of give them little treats before you shake them totally.
Yeah, you probably play until it sleeps and nothing else matters first, and then just hit them with Ride of Lightning and afterwards.
Exactly, a little bit like that. But okay, let's do it a little bit softer in the beginning so they get used to the sound, and when they are used to it, then we surprise them, and then we give no mercy.
It's awesome.
I like you thinking.
because they love it. Most
yeah.
of those classical people or classical fans, they are a bit older.
Yeah.
But when they were young, they probably loved Jimi Hendrix or Sex Pistols or something that they need to be reminded about, that they are still alive.
I was going to lead on to that question. So I want to always ask you this question, and particularly I want to ask you this question because I know we're going to get your answer here. So, what does metal mean to you?
Metal for me, it's attitude. It's more attitude than the music style, and the attitude is that there is certain level of intensity, and we always want to go a little bit beyond. Metal doesn't go the easy way. So for me, for example, there are a lot of metal bands that are considered as metal bands because of the style, that they are not metal for me because they are too obvious, or it's too easy, or so I find metal in many music styles, like classical music. I would say like something like Massive Attack, for example, electronic music is metal because it has this darkness, it has this intensity, captivating intensity. So that's what metal means to me. It's an attitude.
Yeah, it's mad because Reese said earlier on about classical metal. Like obviously with classical music, it's some kind of like form of like it's appreciated metal. I think it is because if you think about like black metal and like just really early metal stuff, especially with like Black Sabbath. There was little sounds that you can just hear, like obviously with INB by Black Sabbath, he uses a mouth organ, and so like it's something like using different instruments. I think metal fans appreciate that, and sometimes I just want to put some gothic piano on sometimes because it just makes me meditate, I guess, in a way of like just if I'm feeling a bit sleepy, it'll help me.
Yeah. So I think it's about the presence, and it's about the kind of like doing things that whatever good metal does, it has some meaning. It's not meaningless. That's what metal is to me. That it's not supposed to be meaningless music. It needs to have something underneath that actually captivates you.
Yeah. Have we got time for one more question, or do you need to shoot off? Because I was gonna ask you before you go. I want to ask you, what festivals, what gigs have you got coming up? I know that you've got a UK tour. Can you please share that with us?
We are starting this tour is Place Metallica Volume Tour. So it's kind of it's full Metallica program. We do the European tour in the fall, around 50 shows, and then we do a North American tour. I think it's just released in February, March. And then we do European summer festival season, and I think there will be more North American dates later next year, in the end of next year. So it's going to be a big world tour, covering all continents, almost all continents. Maybe no Antarctica, but everything else with this album. So we keep the summer easy, and then the actual tour starts. We did already album release show in Helsinki Ice Hall a little bit over a week ago. It was great. So that was kind of a test run of the new program, the new production and everything. And we can't wait to get it on the road. So we hope to see you all. Well, if you haven't seen Apocalyptica, come to see it, because it's something that you have to experience live. That's where the magic happens, when we all gather together in the same room and we share our energy. So hope to see everybody there on tour.
That's great. You all got nothing else to add, have you, Reese? Or
No, I just think it's amazing what you do. I mean, really like that you bring classical to metal. Me and Josh will definitely come to see you for certain. Right?
yeah, definitely 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, just let us know. Just let us know when you're coming around. We have the UK date. It's been a great interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great summer and hope
Yeah.
to see you on tour.